Pacific Island Affairs stand part of the schedules.
Mr. Chair.
The Honourable Senator Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, it's a pleasure to take a call on the estimates debate as the Minister of Pacific Island Affairs, sir. And it's a pleasure because I'm excited about the future of Pacific people in New Zealand. The opposition continues to talk down to our people. They continue to focus on the negative, and they continue to treat us with utter disdain. But I have more faith in Pacific people because I know what their aspirations are, and so does this national government. And I recently did a tour of the country holding whānau across this great land to take the pulse of Pacific people. From Invercargill to Otahu, from Levin to Dunedin, from Porirua to Avondale. And without exception, sir, the response is that we as Pacific people are aspirational for ourselves, our families and our communities. We want high-paying jobs. We want achievement in education. We want accessible quality health care. And we want to live in communities where we feel safe and secure. And these aspirations, sir, have not changed since my dad migrated to this country in the 1950s. And these aspirations likely won't change when my children start their families in the future. So how do we measure up as a government to these aspirations? And members opposite ask how, and I'm going to detail exactly what this government has done. 105,900 people, Pacific people, are currently employed. That is up 7,900, or 8% in the last 12 months. We know we can achieve those aspirations when we're in higher paying jobs. Average weekly earnings have gone up 14% in the last 5 years. The Treasury also estimate that there will be 170,000 more jobs by mid-2018, and Pacific people will be taking a large chunk of those jobs. We also know that our aspirations are better served when we are educated. And this government each year invests $1.5 billion into early childhood education. Early childhood participation is up to almost 90% in 2013. The number of Pacific teachers in early childhood has increased 30% under this national government. And the total enrolments for ECEs, Mr. Whāwhoi, in ECEs provided for Pacific services is up 12% since our national government took hold of the Treasury benches. And this is a fact that Mr. Whāwhoi will like. Pacific achievement at NCA level 2 has gone up 16% since the National took power. And he should be ashamed of the 55% level that Labor was stewards over in 2008. And how about the 75% that are now completing their tertiary studies? They should be ashamed of the fact that it was 60% when they were in power. The number of Pacific students under National gaining tertiary qualifications has risen 65%, Mr. Whāwhoi, 65%, where they are now over 12,000 in 2012. So we know that this government is committed to Pacific families, and that's why last week our government released the Pacific materials for the incredible years. It is why our government has increased the paid parental leave to 18 weeks. It is why our government have given free GP visits for under 13s, because the Pacific people I talk to are pleased about the investment in frontline services. They are pleased about the investment in police. It is no surprise, therefore, that we have the lowest crime rate in 35 years. And finally, sir, it gives me great pride that the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs budget has gone up 16% in the last year. 16%, that's right, Mr. Nuttall, where it's $10 million. It is now over $10 million. And Mr. Sir will be interested because it is 28% higher than when it was under the Labor government. So they should be ashamed of their record with Pacific people. They should be ashamed of their stewardship of the Treasury benches. And
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker. I'm just wondering, sir, the Minister is making a lot of assertions and claims that cannot be substantiated.
Order. No. This is a debate. They're debating points.
Point of order.
No.
Point of order.
No.
Point of order. I called first.
Look, I will handle this. Point of order, and I'll take Paseta Sam Letuinga.
Sir, I'm happy to table my speech. It's all the facts that Mr. Settle would like to hear.
Member will sit.
Happy to give you my speech.
Member will sit. That is not a point of order either. Now, point of order from Honourable Trevor Miller.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and it's a very serious point of order. I noted that as you stood to rule on the point of order, the Minister in the chair held onto your arm in an attempt to get you to sit down. So that is absolutely outrageous, unparliamentary. Sir, I know you take no notice of him, even if he is a slightly larger man and taking a bullying demeanour. But, sir, I think the Minister needs to be told that that sort of behaviour is just not appropriate.
Look, I thank the member. I didn't notice the Minister holding my arm. But order. I'm making some comments here, and I didn't notice the Minister, holding onto my arm, and I'm sure it was not intentional. But you never know. You never know, and so the time for this debate has actually expired, and so we now move to the votes. The question now is order. We're going to have votes. And votes will be taken in silence, thank you. The question now is that vote Pacific Island Affairs, vote Customs, vote Statistics, vote Maori Affairs, vote Internal Affairs stand part of the schedules. Clauses 1 to 10 and schedules 1 to 5 stand part of the bill. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary will say no. The ayes have it. No, sir. A party vote has been called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote. No. Party vote will... It's a party vote on the question that I put on those questions. Order. Votes are in silence.
New Zealand...
Sorry, not... Votes are not in silence.
New Zealand National.
So 59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
9 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Would the Mana vote please be stated again, please?
1 vote opposed.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed. Order, Mr. Chairman.
A point of order to
I
McIntyre.
apologise. I was under the impression the Maori Party only had 2 votes after dinner, but on checking my notes, they have 3. May I correct that vote, please?
Yes, 3 votes.
3 votes in favour.
3 votes in favour. Yes. No, I haven't put the question, so he doesn't need to seek leave. He's just making a correction.
He can't talk from there. He's got to stand up. He can't talk from there, can he? Is he just... Is he supposed
Order. Order, please. We're going to be having a count here. Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 52. The question is agreed to. I will report the appropriation 2014-15 estimates bill without amendment presently. Members, we now turn to the Gambling Amendment Bill number 2. And the question is that Part 1 stand part.
Mr. Chairman.
The Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to take a very brief call on the provisions of Part 1 of this bill, because it's been some considerable time since it's been before